Hey everyone, this is Paul Gale from paulgalenetwork.com, and thank you for joining me today for video game news. It is April 16th, 2021, and these are the top stories of the day. To kick things off, just yesterday I talked about the rumor of Square-Enix possibly being bought out by another company. Well, today Square-Enix has reported that those rumors are false. In no way is Square-Enix's video game position, any of their other positions, the company as a whole, being sought out or up for grabs for somebody to acquire. So, according to them, as of now, don't count on that happening. Could it happen in the future to them or some other third party? Likely. Maybe not to them, we'll see. But to another third party, I wouldn't be surprised to see the day where some big third party company out there that's always been its own entity gets purchased by either Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, or another giant video game company, or maybe someone else in the entertainment industry that wants to put their hand into the gaming market. But for now, Square Enix off the table. Looks like it never was on the table. So overall, I think that's good. I think Square Enix should operate as its own entity and continue making great games for all platforms. And I like to see the name exist. So that's quick and out of the way. And the next part of gaming news is actually going to be the rest of our segment today, and that is the NPD charts, which are now out for the month of March 2021. This information comes to us from the NPD group and courtesy of Matt Piscatella. So thank you, Matt, over on Twitter for putting this together. This is the all platforms chart for the month of March, and we see at number 1 is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Now I should say that when you see this being March 2021, it actually takes place from a few days into March to a few days into April, so there's a little bit of a crossover, but overall this is called the month of March chart. Monster Hunter Rise comes in at number 2, and you might think, shouldn't it be number 1? It was huge, right? Well, just pay attention, or I should say note that Monster Hunter Rise came out March 26th, so it was only available for the 5 days remaining in March and the first 4 days of April, because like I said, this goes until April 4th, so you're looking at 9 days of being on the market, and in only 9 days it managed to be number 2, so very impressive. What's the difference between sales in these two? Hard to say for sure, so it could have been number 1 had it been available for the whole period, or maybe Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War was too far ahead, so it wouldn't have made a difference. But very impressive for both Call of Duty on still being number 1 and for Monster Hunter Rise hitting number 2. Outriders debuted, another new game, at number 3. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury at 4. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales at number 5. And an interesting thing on Miles Morales is that it is now one of the best-selling Sony PlayStation games of all time. That's a first-party exclusive title, Not a third-party game, not a Grand Theft Auto or a Red Dead Redemption or a Call of Duty or a Madden, but no, just a first-party exclusive game built for PlayStation in mind. It's one of their top games ever. It has outsold Ghost of Tsushima. It has outsold The Last of Us 2. So it's really up there, and congratulations. It's very well deserved. I loved Miles Morales. I played that at launch, beat it, and I can't wait to see what's next from Insomniac in regards to the Spider-Man franchise. Coming up at number 6 is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Phenomenal. Still charting, still in the top 10. This is for all of March and of all consoles. This isn't just the Nintendo chart, so obviously we have Outriders and Call of Duty and Spider-Man on there, but I just gotta give props to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because here it is on the top 20 console charts, competing against games that are available on all platforms, third-party games that are available everywhere, and it is number 6, which is great. And it now has the new claim, the new title of being the highest selling racing game of all time in the United States. That is paired with Mario Kart 8 on Wii U, but the majority of those sales come from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on Nintendo Switch. So with Mario Kart 8 overall being Wii U and Nintendo Switch SKUs, you're looking at the best-selling racing game ever in the US. That's wild. Number 7, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Number 8, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Number 9, Super Mario 3D All-Stars. This is the last time you'll see Mario 3D All-Stars because as of March 31st, it's no longer available in stores. And keep in mind, when it comes to Nintendo games, you see the asterisks on most of these titles, with the exception of NBA 2K21. Everything else with an asterisk is on Nintendo, and that's because Nintendo doesn't supply data to the NPD from its eShop sales. So some of these games would track even higher, like 3D World or Mario Kart 8, for instance. Moving on, number 10 is Minecraft. 11 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. At number 12 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 13 is Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. Number 14 is Mortal Kombat 11. Impressive seeing a fighting game such as Mortal Kombat 11 still chart, which I'm really happy for too. Number 15, this is a cool one. Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. I say it's a cool one because not only is it a fun game, but it is ranked 15th best-selling game of March. Its previous month of February, it was ranked 65th. It jumped up 50 spots in the month from February to March, and that's largely due because of the Nintendo Switch version that came out, and that's really cool. If you look at these so far, you look, 16 to 10, this game moved up. 10 to 8, this game moved up. 65 to 15, this game moved up, but by a significant amount. Really cool. Again, it's available on all platforms. You could also say that it went up in sales, perhaps because people want to play the Xbox Series and the PlayStation 5 versions of them, but most of those sales come from Nintendo Switch for this month. Number 16, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Literally a 4-year-old game on the chart, still selling blockbuster numbers. Beautiful. Number 17, Madden NFL 21. Number 18, NBA 2K21. Number 19, Super Mario Party. And number 20, FIFA 21. An interesting point is that there are a good amount of Mario games on here, and that's in part due to March 10th, Mario Day. So that's kind of neat. If we look at the year-to-date top 10, this is just from the beginning of the year, from January 1st-ish till April 4th, covering the March data. You've got Call of Duty, Super Mario 3D World, Miles Morales, Monster Hunter Rise, already the 4th best-selling game of the year after only being out for 9 days. Impressive. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Mario Kart 8, Minecraft, Madden NFL 21, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Outriders. Nice job on Outriders becoming number 10. And for the 12 months rolling, which, makes up for this last 12-month period, no surprise, Call of Duty at number 1, Madden NFL 21 at 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare at 3, Assassin's Creed Valhalla at 4, Miles Morales at 5, Animal Crossing at 6, The Last of Us Part 2 at 7, Ghost of Tsushima at 8, Super Mario 3D All-Stars at 9, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 10. Makes me wonder if Nintendo allowed Super Mario 3D All-Stars to exist for a full year and not 12 months. If they kept it going 6 more months from now, and they were also going to supply the data at the end of this year for the eShop sales, just how high would this one track? How high could it potentially go? We will find out from Nintendo early May what their fiscal report is for the last 3 months, from January 1st to March 31st, and for that matter, the whole year. And a look at what they expect for the upcoming fiscal year and how well they, expect Nintendo Switch to sell both hardware, software-wise, etc. A couple of other interesting things to note about the sales data is that March did have a record of $300 million made, which is 26% higher than the previous year for the month of March. Something else that's interesting is that Nintendo Switch now, with this month, has hit 28 consecutive months at being the #1 best-selling console in the United States. 28. That's just wild. So that means that, yes, it is the best-selling console of this month of March. You will see reports out there saying that PlayStation 5 is the fastest-selling console in US history, and that is accurate. But let me break that down, what it means. Because you're like, well, how could Nintendo Switch be #1 for March, but PlayStation 5 be the #1 fastest-selling system? Well, easy to explain. Launch aligned is what it means. In PlayStation 5's first 5 months, from November through the end of March, and any other United States console, in its first 5 months, PS5 has sold more in that time period. Now, however, for the month of March 2021, Nintendo Switch has outsold PlayStation 5 for the month itself. That means that Nintendo Switch is now 4 years into its lifetime, outselling what it did at its launch. Because sometimes the platform, in this case Nintendo Switch, is doing better on these consecutive years, as they usually do start to peak after a while before going down inevitably. Nintendo Switch is in that peak season. It's hard to say if 2021 will outpace 2020. I think it will, especially if there's a price drop at some point, if we get a Breath of the Wild 2, if we get a Nintendo Switch Plus. Last year, we had pandemic, we had Animal Crossing. Unfortunately, the pandemic hit, but it really was a benefit to Animal Crossing when people couldn't go out and they had, a really nice social game such as it that gave you a lot of hours. This year, pandemic's still going on, quarantine still exists. The gaming industry is overall still benefiting from it. It would still be doing well regardless. Xbox Series has plenty of games. Game Pass is fantastic. PlayStation 5, for a lot of people that didn't have PS4 or specifically a PS4 Pro, they're getting to benefit from all of those games being played at a better quality, such as Crash 4, looking at God of War, looking at Ratchet and Clank, looking at the upcoming Final Fantasy VII. So there are plenty of reasons for why they would do regardless, but you can't help but, give credit that since people can't go out and do as much, the video game industry is booming, and Nintendo is benefiting a lot from it as well. It's a portable console. Multiple people in the household could play it, different rooms, same time. If you're going to visit those few people, you bring your system on the go. That's always been attractive. Now it's even, more attractive. A lot of the games go on sale very frequently, and in general, 2021 still has some surprises that I'm sure are in store. And even not counting surprises, you have some big hits like Monster Hunter Rise, No More Heroes 3, new Pokemon Snap. So we've got some solid stuff for the year. We have Pokemon coming at the end of the year, remakes. So it's going to be an overall solid year, a very healthy year for the video game industry. And it'll be interesting to see, come April, will Nintendo Switch hit the 29 consecutive month being dominant mark, or will PS5 or Xbox Series X take over? Overall, though, I'm pretty happy seeing this. Another report that we have coming out is that, yes, even though PS5 is now in its 5th month, the best-selling system in US history for these first 5 months, Nintendo Switch sold more in March than PS5, and not just more in units, but more in dollars spent. So think about that one, because we don't have exact numbers for how many consoles did, get sold, but the PS5 sold somewhere around the neighborhood of 390,000 consoles, okay? That's 390,000 units between $500 and $400 models. That's a lot of money. Nintendo Switch made more money. And Nintendo Switch is being sold at $300 and the Nintendo Switch Lite at $200. So if you take the average and say more are buying Nintendo Switch than Lite, and you're taking the average of PS5 and the digital version, saying more people are buying the console disc system than the digital system, between 500 and 400, and you say around 400,000 for PS5, just how high is the Nintendo Switch? Could it be in the 500,000 range? Could it be at 600,000? Hard to say, but it's just mind-blowing of how well these systems are doing. We don't have any concrete numbers for Xbox. I don't have a guesstimate, but I don't have a guesstimate, at least I should say, from Matt, but my own would be hopefully around the 300,000 mark. That's just going off of what I think would be healthy and based off of seeing third-party support being pretty solid and Game Pass being pretty well received. My hope is that it's 300,000. My guess is that it's probably within that range too, since that would be, doing 75% of what PlayStation 5 is doing. Although on the low end, I could see PS5 outperforming Xbox Series brand of consoles 2-1. But it really depends on just how many chips are being made, how many consoles is Microsoft able to pump out, because everything I'm pretty sure that is being dished out is being purchased, especially for the Series X, perhaps over the Series S, and PS5 digital or disc. People are just trying to get whatever they can get their hands on. Like I said earlier, month 29 is April. I think Nintendo Switch will take it. Month 30 is May. We've got Resident Evil 8, which is going to be big, but also can Sony and Microsoft release enough to take advantage of the fact that, hey, they got a big game coming out that's still not exclusive to those systems. They could get it on PS4 or Xbox One, but a lot of people will want to play it in the highest fidelity on console. So, I don't know, Nintendo Switch might make it to month 30 as well, but we'll see when we get there, if it could make it to 29 and then 30 and etc. That's going to do today for video game news. We're 18 minutes in, not bad. All we really had to talk about today was Square-Enix and dispelling those rumors and then going into NPD. So that's it. Still been fun to talk though. Hope you all had a good time watching. This is Paul Gale Network signing out. Take it easy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.